we have talked about design and construction so far of all the savings that can be done and all the money that could be saved. But the biggest part of the savings is asset management. It has been shown that 30%, you can cut the management of assets by 30%.
Wow.
By having the right data to manage it. Now, this data has to be collected at the right time in the briefing stage, in the design phase, in the construction phase. This data has to be collected and managed properly so that the facility management software can manage the facility properly. But you can cut as much as 30%. And we're talking about a decade or 5 decades or 100 years for a facility. Right?
Exactly.
So that's where the big savings come from, not from the construction, which is in the billions. Now, you see, BSI designed 7 courses. These are 7 courses that are part of the standards. And the number 1 course is the strategic understanding. And it's the name of the course. And this is designed for asset owners and asset managers to educate them. What kind of questions should they ask? What kind of information should they require before hiring a company to do a project? And in the United States, the National Building Sciences, they also published in 2017 a standard for asset owners and building owners. So the first thing is that owners have to demand, and I don't think the awareness is out there as much as it should be.
Yeah, of course. Like you said, I still think this is the problem: the education, the lack of education, and the awareness that they need not only to go to a course or something. They really need to do this, like establish a BIM strategy across the organization, how they are going to approach this, how they are going to implement this, and how they are going to use this on specific projects. This is definitely something that we will talk about in 5 years, maybe earlier, maybe later, I don't know, but we will, like, it's going to be the norm. Like it's obvious this is the way. Like it cannot be in a different way. I don't see it.
Owners have to understand why they need the information. Now, if they don't know how to demand it and how to phrase it, they can always hire a third party that will help them figure out all the information requirements that everybody needs to produce and manage through the design, construction, and handover phase. So they can get help, but they have to understand the importance of getting the information. For example, COBE is one of the courses that the BSI teaches. It's how to hand over information at the end of a project, construction of the project, right? To be useful for the asset managers and the owners of the building. So there's this language where you can extract this manageable data from every stage of the construction and design phase to use it for asset management. And it's called COBE, which is a term that has been developed here in the United States like many decades ago. And the US Army is using it, and NASA is using it. And it's a very nice tool to be able to extract this information. Now, most architects and engineers they handle the information, right? Like structural information, data about equipment and stuff like that, but they don't extract it for the use of the owner.
No.
And it's a waste of money and talent to do that.
Completely agree.
So this is tremendously important. So people have a good general. And I'm not really big fan of standardizing and demanding things, because I grew up in a socialist country where everything was demanded and asked. So there are many people, academics in the BIM research, that they are not very big fan of standards. But what I like about the standards is that they give you, the different courses give you an overview of how you should think about the process, right? Like, for example, if you want to be a structural engineer, you can go online and start reading everything that's out, that's available online. It will take you 20 years and you will never become an engineer. But it's useful to go to university where the courses are designed for you. You know what you have to study. The knowledge is built upon previous knowledge. You graduate, you become a structural engineer, and then You can do all the research you want, but there's a structure of how to become an engineer. So that's what the standards help people understand. What are the processes? What is the language that is used in the BIM world, and so on.